Hey guys, it's Diana, Art by Diana, on my easel, and we are still working on this bottles in a window or on a shelf, on a sill. I haven't really even touched it. I went and I ordered my paints that I needed, and then I found them. I don't know what it is about going to get supplies, but it seems like as soon as I buy something, I found them in the other room. I got another class right after this, so I'm going to kind of tell my people I'm going earlier. I have a sinus infection. So I'm thinking I better get this thing. It seems like the more the sun goes down, it's like a child. It's getting worse. So let me just tell my people. I have two groups over on Facebook. One is the Artsy Rose group. And I'm going to tell them that I'm on now. It's early. Let me get on there. The Artsy Rose group, Artzy. I got it with an S on this one because some marketer somewhere said, don't do that. Don't use an odd letter. Too late. It's like on everything. Um, Background color. I had a streaming issue. I'm just learning how to do this. This is only like my fourth live stream. I've done a couple like incognito kind of thing on YouTube now. Come watch. Here goes my nose. My daughter was sick the last 2 weeks. She came to visit. There you go. Haven't seen anybody. I go near people unless I have to, right? I haven't done any like classes, live classes. Everything I do is like here. I plan on doing some other stuff near people, but it's time of the year though, don't you think? It's the fall, and the trees are like. Seems like every fall I get a cold, but I think I got it from her. Sinus infection. Can you catch the sinus infection? Not sure. I got my paints out. I got the new palette. I'm using the other side. So I tried scraping some off. I gave up. But now I think I was using the wrong side anyways. I use a glass palette too, but that's in the other room because I do classes separately. This is kind of a new venture. I do have over 110 videos listed that you can go watch at the Artsy Rose or Diana Myers 899. Today's the live though. We're going to work on this painting, and I should be able to get most of it done. If you were here last week, I didn't have it set up very good. I can't use my phone to use this until I get a certain number of people. So please subscribe. Once I get to 50 people, I can use my phone like I do on Facebook. I do roughly 3 to 4 classes a week on there. 2 of them are private. Paid and then unpaid group, a free group. So go over there and try the free group. We do all kinds of stuff, fun stuff. We do pumpkins and we painted rocks and watercolor. I do a little bit of everything. I've been doing art painting like 45 years. So it's just what it is. So anyways, I'm sorry I'm sniffling. I'm sorry. I can't help it. Okay, so I got like a thing going on here. So let me see. So we got the base done. I started doing a little palette knifing because I like to palette knife. And I got this too far forward. I'm looking at the picture I had. And I decided that it needed to be a little bit more onto the ground here. It's kind of floating. So I'm going to take some brown. And these jars are too small. I haven't decided if I'm going to leave them or not. So I'm going to take a little, I had mixed the colors. I'm going to take a little bit of brown. A little bit of, I got Fatal Blue. On here, there's, I got Burnt Sienna, White, Alizarin Crimson, Fatal Blue, Lemon Yellow, Ochre, and Burnt Umber. I think of the name. See what happens to your sinuses go crazy. So I'm mixing the brown and the Fatal Blue because I get a nice dark shade. Then I'm going to bring this down a little bit. I'm not going to worry about hitting these jars right here. And I want to darken this edge up, and then I'll make this edge go light. You'll have like a kind of a light effect hitting from the window. We're going to darken this corner right up. I used a big flat brush to start it, but we're going to work on it so I get a little more detail. I have a very large round brush. Get it wet a little bit. I didn't want my brush With acrylic painting, you only wet the brush when it needs it. You can wet it once the paint's on it, but as a rule, it's not watercolor. So you don't want to get it wet and have it dribble all over. So always wet it, dab it once. You use dirty brush a lot, so don't worry about getting it clean. If the color's mixing, you don't want it to mix, and of course you go when you change it, dry it up, wet it, dab it, and then use whatever color you're going to use. So I still need this down a little bit further so that it's on the table. Did that make any sense? I want it on the table. Probably won't finish this today, but I'll finish it myself at some point. And I will post it on here so you can see it. You know what I mean? That's what I do in my group. Usually when I'm talking and painting, not so great. So afterwards, I would go back and do my adjustments. So we're working from a postcard that I had. I think it might be from the 50s or 40s even. Probably 50s or 60s. I used to go to this junk shop. I like to buy old cards, I try not to collect too much anymore. I'm in a smaller mobile home now. So, long story, but I like to collect old stuff. And I used to like old postcards. And I use them for all kinds of things, including just giving people cards. And they had this package of cards that I've had this for years. So I've been eyeballing it. Finally got around to doing it. I said, well, why do I do people wondering why I haven't done any big paintings. Well, I was kind of getting into, I'm going to add some white to that same color. It's going to end up with this dull whitish color. Trying to keep all my colors to the middle this time so I don't mess it up too much. And I'm going to kind of just lighten this up a little bit right here. I'm going to take that same gray color. I'm going to adjust these. These are like candy jars, they're supposed to be. But I think I got them too small. So I'm just going to take some gray, extend these out a little bit. Here. But it's your painting. You can change it up. I ain't got all the bottles in. Some of them are in a different position. It's just I like the way the light comes through. There's also some lace over the top of this, which I think you would do last. I hope you would know that. So it makes sense if you put lace on and try to put some light on it or change the colors. Well, you're going to mess it up. So you can't do that. I teach mostly newbies. So I find it's easier for me and them because me being self-taught, I'm sniffling, I'm so sorry. Me being self-taught, I understand. And, when I first started learning, it's a long story how I got started, but when I first started painting, I wrote all my boss's, I did hair book, and she's like, Diana, stop it on the book. I got some pastels. Do you want them? So I started using pastels. Fell in love with them. So then we found a place for me to take classes. I'm keeping this on the dark side. The light's behind it. And next thing you know, I oil painted for 20 years because that's what there was. I mean, there was probably some acrylic. There was people doing acrylic. It's a long story too, but I didn't learn really how to do anything else at the time. I did other things because I enjoy art and crafts. So I tried different things. And I've since learned that that's a good thing. It's like you get this little arsenal. You have all these things that you've learned being cooking techniques or whatever. So I encourage learning different things. It can get expensive, but there's a lot of things you can do without spending a lot of money. But so I did that for a long time. And I raised kids and I worked. I was in the CNY Guild here in Central New York. And I remember a guy came in and gave us a little speech about, little light hit this top, about there being, a lot of people that had to work. So probably some lost talent because people have to work. So I always say, I want you to sit down and do it as much as you can, but you always can't, I had sick parents. I had 3 kids. I had a sick husband. He's since passed. So, I've had a lot going on in my life too. And I had a business, had several businesses over the years. And I always like to make money because I was 10 kids. And guess what? You want to work, I want to go to college. I need a job. So, anyways, over the years I've took all different classes, all different places, teachers, college professors, friends, and then they didn't have like they got now the internet and all that, so I had to get books. A lot of them I found at the secondhand store. Very few I couldn't afford to order or anything. I spent a lot of time just painting on my own. I picked up whatever information at some of the art supply places. I found out they'd give out free classes somewhere, like at a little community thing. I go over and run over and take a few classes. One was actually in a railroad car. We were painting clouds. So over the years, I've done all kinds of stuff simply because whatever was cheaper and whatever was available if I couldn't afford the classes. But basically, the big thing is you need to paint. And I tell them you won't forget. If you have a few years where you have to take care of kids or something, or whatever the problem is, or you're working all the freaking time, you don't forget that stuff. You might have to warm up again. I do a lot of people just getting back into it too, or they're just kind of dabbling, but they still want to paint. So don't give up because of life. Life happened to all the big ones too. Things happen. Van Gogh was quite the drinker, so he cut his ear off and stuff. So life happened to him too, right? All right? So now this is like a terracotta color. I didn't have any ochre or any ochre and something else. What was it? I think it was the sienna. No, I had sienna. I didn't have any ochre. I didn't have a yellow. Well, when I went in the other room to do my other work, in my other room, it was in the drawers because I've been cleaning. You know what happens when you clean? You can't find a damn thing, right? All right, so I'm going to go into the yellow. Oh, this is a little green. I don't want no green in this. I'm going to yellow into my blue there. A little green, so I had a little blue in my brush. So I'm going to come back in. I'm going to pick up some yellow. I want to brighten this up a little bit. And some sienna. I get kind of an orangey color, which is what we want. Oh, wrong one, this one. And I'm going to kind of come in here and just... Now, there's some colors underneath, so I'm going to use some of these colors. You guys see? Let me see. Oh, I can't really see. Let me see this way. I'm sorry about this. I don't have a phone, so... I don't have a professional photographer, so this is really like what you would call winging it. So I'm just going to add a red to that, right where I think I need it. I'm not too fussy about it. I like to show the darks and the lights. I tend to do impressionism. So for me, if a few pieces are a little wonky, I'm good with that. I'm just trying to pick up the essence or the feeling of a painting, which is what it's about. You don't got to be like, if you're somebody, I have a sister who paints, who likes the perfect painting. I used to try to do that, and I have some that look pretty perfect, but they made me a little stressed out. So then I stopped enjoying painting, and that's how I kind of moved from oil into acrylic. Just happened right before I got hired with painting with a twist, and they do all acrylic. I learned a lot from that job. So about people, and I realized that I like to teach, and it ended up being like a cool thing. I really didn't realize by then, after 40 years, about 37, 38 years by then, that I knew so damn much about painting. Can we swear in here? I don't know. So anyways, that's swearing. Yeah, it's not nice. So now I want to still keep some shadows underneath here. So the opposite of red, because it's a reddish base, would be a greenish color. So I had made this blue and green right here. I'm going to kind of dip into that with the orange on my brush, or that terracotta color. I'm going to come in here and kind of deepen that shadow up a little bit. We'll leave a little more yellow and blue for green. I'm going to deepen that up just a tad. Now the light's all coming like this way. But there's also some flowers right here. But there's like the whole countertop is like a kind of like a wood goldish color. So I might pick up on some of that too first. But let me just kind of get some bit of shadow. You want to go dark to light. It's always dark to light anyway. So yeah. Yeah, let me pick up on some of that yellow. I'm gonna put this brush there. I'm gonna get me my big brush, my big girl. We're gonna get her wet, dab her. I need more paper towels here. Kind of need some place to dab a little bit. I have to put this right here. Okay, get her wet. And it's like kind of a wood color. So same thing, I'm going to pick up this sienna, a little bit of ochre and sienna. Is anybody on here yet? Hey, Texas time. So I'm going to take this ochre and yellow, and I'm going to kind of make that wood color. I'm just going to kind of go back and forth because this is wood. So whenever you're doing anything wood or otherwise, and you want to pick up on the grain, you kind of want to do it in the direction of the grain. So I don't think it's like a definite thing, but I feel like that's what it is. It could be something else. I don't know. Like I said, I think this little postcard's probably from this. I don't really think it's like a famous painter. I have never found anything like it. So you got to worry about that. But really, sometimes when they're dead, nobody really cares. But, you know, I have copied them. I did some studies of Van Gogh. Came out pretty good. Monet, pretty good. I like the flowers mostly. Big flower painter. And I also like pots. I learned a lot while online having some books. I learned a lot from Helen Van Wyck. WYK. For a long time, her stuff wasn't out. You couldn't find it anywhere. I found the book at the secondhand store many moons ago. Many moons ago. And I have one of them in my classes. I put it in my guide section. And you couldn't find any of her videos. Well, anyways, long story short, I'm trying to put a little bit, I'm going to pick up some of this yellow once in a while. I'm going to put it like more towards the front of where the window is, where the light would hit it, just to kind of make it lighter right there. And I found they finally, I think it's something to do with the family. I read somewhere. I did a little deep dive. And someone's put them back on there, so you can find more of her videos. But she was actually a portrait artist. I have her books. Actually, my house got hit by a car, got destroyed. I know it, right? Who believed it? My people know. And I lost everything that was in that. Almost killed my granddaughter. Went through the window, and right there was all stored, all like supplies, my art books. Oh, anyways, I found a lot of the books. I ended up finding them on Poshmark. So I was pretty happy. The ones that I wanted, there's some that I didn't watch. She did a lot of like vegetables, fruit studies of like, she taught of like, I'm also hitting a little sienna too. A little bit. And she, great artist. I really enjoyed watching her shows. I forget when she was on. I don't think she was on the same time like Bob Ross was on Saturdays, and I did hair Saturdays. It takes it. I made a lot of money Friday and Saturdays. This poor body is paid for every second I stood behind that chair. Long story short, my husband had everything ready when I got home. He'd have all my shows ready and have a little dinner ready for me because I'd be so beaten Friday and Saturday. So that's how I ended up. I just watched her. And that's how I end up like having this love for. She teaches a lot about light and darks and reflective light. And, if you want to get into that kind of stuff and you're like doing bottles and light and stuff, she was somebody who was really good at it. I might add a little light to this. I add a little white. I kind of bring this towards the front a little bit. Just sometimes I do this and I just want to make sure I have what I'm looking for. All right, so let me just go back in that color. I'm going to add some more brown, sienna, ochre, yellow. Probably a little darker on that side, so let's add a little bit more of the sienna. Maybe even a little bit of that burnt umber. We're going to darken this corner up a little bit. There's going to be shade from this. I'm calling it a chest. I don't think it's actually a chest in the picture, but to me, it looks like a chest. So, but we got to pick up some of that yellow. I got a lot of yellow, a lot of ochre in there. So I'm going to throw some ochre over top of that. You'll see that I don't really over mix. I feel like it's kind of like cheating if you undermix. If there's different colors, then you haven't got to go back and highlight. You just got to make sure they're kind of in the right place on the brush, in the right place, the right time, because it can look a little muddy. But I'll just go back over and add color to what's already there. I'm cutting this in a little bit because it's a little too low anyways. Cut it in. Cutting in means I can change things up simply by cutting into it. Keep this edge up here light. That light. Yeah, I got these down too low, so I want to bring these up. Luckily, this stuff dries so fast, we won't have to wait a millennium for it to dry. So now I got a lot of light down there, and I got a lot of color. More yellow right here. Just a hint. You got to keep the bottles see-through, so I'm going to kind of working them towards the end. But, yeah. So let's work on, let's see. Let's work on, let's put a little more orange, or put more of that ochre and the brown. A little yellow again, a little white, right in this area. Because there's going to be, right here you can see I put in kind of like some makeshift flowers. But I really want a nice yellow base to this because the flowers are sitting on top of the table. So, but I can still leave some of the indications there. Leave some of that shadow there. Let's get a small brush out so I can do a little detailing. I never like these things like this. Makes my finger go numb. So, still working on around these pots. Yeah, let's take some of that sienna. Kind of. Sienna on a dirty brush. And then it has, like, I'm going to take the burnt sienna, and there's like a shadow with some of this darker color right in here. Sorry, I know I'm sniffling, but I'll probably be like this for a month. It's the time of the year. So I'm going to pick up that blue and brown and want to darken underneath here just a little bit. Just to show up a little bit. Kind of want to follow this. And on the inside here, we're going to darken this up a little bit. Whoop, a little darker. Brown and that little blue and the burnt umber. You should watch that Bob Ross too. I think part of the problem when I fell in love with doing oil painting so much was that, well, the dry time, but with his painting, which he learned from a German guy, um, it was much faster. The one on what technique, which I do all the time. I didn't even know that's what you called it. I just started doing it. I just did it. Didn't know. Sometimes not knowing is a good thing. They say that rose-colored glasses. It's a good thing, right? YouTube recommended me. Thank you, YouTube. The YouTube gods. Thank you. So I just started doing it. Didn't think about it. So I like it. Say, why do you paint? I don't know. So finally I figured it out. I like to paint. I think it's just, I teach this right brain, left brain thing, if you guys have ever heard of that in my classes. I think we're born with, we're either more analytical or, of course, a lot of famous people are both. Give you a lot of examples of people that are both artistic and mathematicians. I'm sure you could think of a few. I can't think right off the top of my head now. I should know, though. Yeah, there's quite a few. What color are these? Are kind of a pink color. So I'm going to kind of just see if I can't put a few in right now. I can't think right now. So, but yeah, there's people that are both. But anyways, you really got to kind of use one side of the brain if you're not using the other. And for some people, they just don't. It's just a muscle they're not using because it is a big muscle. They need to use it. And they don't use it. So 1, 2, 3. I don't have to do all of them, right? I don't have to do all of them. I'm just going to kind of swatch these in here. Put a little bit of light color. What's the opposite of red? Green, right? So that's a little bit of green. I made a green over here. Sorry. I know I'm snorting. No, that's not right either. That's not right. Let's go back. Just red and white. Heck with it. Maybe a little sienna. See if it tones it down a little bit. Yeah, that's better. I like that. Kind of. Yeah, I like that better. Maybe do one right here. Now we got like this. Get a little detail brush. There's like what do you call them? Stems. Oh, wrong one. Right here. Gotta make a green. I have green in here somewhere, but I'm too lazy. I'm just gonna make one. Sometimes I'm never happy with the greens, and I will use like Viridian or something. But sometimes you just, I just can't get the right green. So, paint a little blue and yellow, little yellow ochre, make a pretty good green. A little bright, but I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm gonna kind of come in here and just start making some stems. It kind of sits right up against this pot. So I do kind of impressionist looks. I'm looking to be perfect here. That's what's nice about impressionism. Squint your eyes. First time I took an impressionist class and the guy said do that, I was like, say what? And then since then, I've read other artists, and this famous guy called Eric Rose, compiled a list of things that you can do, like painting with your less dominant hand, to give that impressionistic look. And squint your eyes. The impression of, you're not supposed to do exactly. Just impressionistic. Be impressionistic. That's all right. So, these are definitely not perfect. They're going to need some detailing, but I'm talking and trying to work here. So it's kind of looking like some flowers laying there, right? So throwing some leaves like. All right. Let's throw a little green in here too, a little greenery. There's actually like a lot of greenery up in here too. It's on like a, to me, orchid. That's the word I couldn't remember. So I'm going to pick up that same color. Let's go over some of this a little bit. So I kind of picking up the color through the painting. You want the painting to kind of be cohesive. It doesn't always got to have the same colors, but if there's a little of that color, for somehow, even people who don't paint, they pick up on something doesn't look right. So always try to work some of that color, whatever it is, all over the painting. It just looks better. I don't know who told me that. Somebody, somewhere, sometime. Or I read it. I used to like to read. I still do sometimes. Art history, about the masters, and I like a lot of the young ones, but I could tell you more about the masters than I could about the young ones, really. The truth. Truth. Lighten this up a little bit of yellow. Just lighten it up just a tad. There's light coming in here, so you want to pick up on some of that light. Yeah, some light. I think it's more on the other side, but the light bounces up. Light bounces. You ever in a room and you're where a dark room? Where is that light coming from? There's a little speck of light. Well, light bounces off everything, and it'll have secondary, third. Like a street light will hit the back of your house, and you might hit something metal like your mailbox and bounce into a window and bounce off something metal you got on your shelf, and the next thing it bounces off that, it bounces into your bedroom. So that's how light works. So there's always some type of, even if it's muted, there's always some type of light. Interesting, right? Helen Van Wyck. Always some kind of light. So I'm kind of doing my own thing here. I'm not doing exactly like the picture. Just doing an interpretation. I'm doing an interpretation. How about that? Interpretation. They're always fun. Now she's got all kinds of plants in here, so let's kind of, you guys can see that. Let me move this around again so you can see it. I have to use my laptop. You have to get 50 people. And then I get used that. When I did Facebook, they had all these little, there you go, these little rules that you had to, little hoops you had to jump through. I think they want to make sure you're serious. I would think with 110 videos on here, I have 110 videos from my other classes on Facebook. That would be enough, but evidently not. They have 1,000 people on Facebook, 1,200, 1,300. And then I have, in my groups, I have a little over 500. And the one I only have it's a private group. I teach them. It's 10 people individually. So I think these need to be greener. They need to be greener. Man, a little more yellow, a little more blue. I got a small brush. Not quite a rigger or anything, but it's a small brush. Doesn't gotta be exactly, but I want a good impression here. I can always fix it later. Let's see. See, there's lace curtains over this, so I'm going to work that in last. That'll be the last thing I do. Okay, let's see. Let's mess with the green on the next one. Wet my brush. Small brushes dry out fast, so you'll find that you're going to hit that in the water once in a while. Dab it. Don't let it get runny. A little more blue in the screen. A little more blue. Yeah, a little more blue. Same thing. It's really bushy up here, so I'm going to go right ahead and do all that. And you want to kind of work in some different colors. You could throw a little yellow, a little ochre in there just to give it some interest. Sometimes paintings are not just about doing it perfect. It's about having little odd sections or something that's going to keep their attention, even if they don't know it. I took this class, the guy's out of California. I think it was an online class, if I remember right. And well, it had to be. And it's quite famous. I got names, so I don't ask her up the bat. But he had this class. I think it was a lot of older women, because a lot of them are usually classes. And he talked about, we were learning to do tinfoil. which sounds easy. It's not. And he had them do a certain subjects. It had to have tinfoil on it. Whatever it was a certain size. It had to be tinfoil. And a lot of them did pretty mundane things, normal kind of stuff. But the one guy did, which doesn't sound like it'd be a big deal, was like a soda bottle with a candy wrapper and a candy bar. I don't remember. Long story short, he turned all these other paintings around and said, oh, that's nice. And, oh, that Rebecca Schiff does a good job. And the last one they turned over, everybody went, oh, it wasn't nothing that special, but it was done so well. And it had such interest to it. The way he made the light really hit it. The light was hitting it. Made the whole painting. So it goes to show that you ain't going to do nothing special. You just got to give it that wow factor. You got to figure it out. So sometimes giving the painting a little interest is what you want to do. You want to try some different things, move something around, make something a little brighter. I think that comes when you come into your own and you're learning to paint. You realize that, and it's the funniest thing how I learned how that was important, which took me a while to figure out, but I had a salon. And I had little paintings that they were cards. And they were fun because you could do all different things, all different times of the year, different colors, even different textures and stuff. And I did these, someone requested different things. And I was watching this. She was actually an ex-nun. And I'm watching her look at this painting and look at this painting. And it was nothing particular. It was actually a pot of mums and a small card. And she just spent a lot of time looking at it. And I don't know what she was looking at, but what I realized is something fascinated her in that paint. I thought it came out really good. More even than I usually liked. But mums can be very round and very perfect, which is so weird, right? So she just and I think about that when I think about that guy when he said that about two things, about the eye, nose, and something interesting in the painting. And the only thing that was interesting in that was I really just spent my time on this little tiny painting because I never had done mums, and she just loved it. In fact, she said she kept it. She didn't end up giving it out. I had that happen a few times. People were buying them just to frame them, which I never even thought of because, small art is a big thing, so not thinking about that. So anyways, having a little something different in there is a good thing. Sound like Martha Stewart. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Poor Martha. I like Martha. I don't care. I like Martha. For her time. All right, so I got a lot of light in this. This doesn't have much light, but I got a lot of light in it. It's right there. And it has kind of maybe a bamboo. This is kind of impressionistic too. Not like mine, but it is. I'm going to rinse that brush a little bit. Let me get no, we'll stick with the small one. We're going to pick up sienna and ochre. Yeah. Just go ahead and keep it on the dark side. There's like this little, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it could be like little ribs to the, almost like there's a bamboo support on it. So, which kind of would be cool. So I'm going to kind of keep that on the lighter side. Same colors, but made a little yellow and white. And I'm going to actually, well, there's a little brown, but I can do later. Kind of. Let me darken the one side. Dark and found edges. Lost and found edges. Just about every side of any given pot or whatever you're doing, one side should stand out and the other side should kind of just fade. It sounds crazy, but it makes a painting work if one side's more defined and one's a little diffused. It just works. which is not something I can even hardly explain myself, but it's something that just works, especially with flowers. I do a lot of flowers usually, so I find that that seems to be true. And like they know that when you go to look at paintings at a museum, they know that people on a painting, they'll look at one thing, like a flower, two or three of the main flowers, and everything fades. You don't realize that until you really start looking at really good paintings, and you'll notice that that's kind of true. Not that they're bad, the other flowers are just not as distinct, because the eye will find one place. You hear them talk about how it's distracting to the eye, or it's really a thing. It's like people who don't even know art, somehow they can tell. And it's just the eye. I always say the eye knows. These phones are a good thing now. I use my phone a lot. It used to be I'd put it up on the wall like 3 months and finally figure out. I knew there was something, but sometimes you just can't figure it out. It could be the smallest thing too. You'll screw that painting up till you get it right. So you're better off just sitting it on the wall. They tell you time to look at it. But with the phones, you do like a picture every 5 feet, every 5 seconds, and then next thing you know, the painting you did, the picture you took 4 times before was the better one. You shouldn't have messed with it. True story. True story. I'm going to lighten this edge up on here just a touch right there. Take some blue and white. I want to fix that corner right here. We're going to put some curtains over this at some point. Just doing a little fixing here. Just doing a little fixing. I didn't like the way that was looking. All right. All right. Be here all day if I use this thing. You're going to have a little definition here. Yeah. Pink. Need to make some pink. Sienna, alizarin, and white. Just a little bit. All right, let's move around this paint. I gotta adjust these a little bit. They're like a blue, so blue. I'll yell to it. Just ochre, white ochre, and white. A lot of white. I think this brush is too small. Let's go bigger round brush. I'm using Arteza paints, by the way, and I have these are Arteza brushes too, as a matter of fact. Most of them. I usually use a lot of Liquitex, but if these are on sale, which they were, I will use this. It's acrylic paint. A little lighter. That's kind of a red bottom. I think I need angle brush. Need angle brush. Not getting the right edges on this. Yeah. I want the top lighter. Be a little bigger. The top's a little flatter. Sienna, Little Lizard, Crimson. I'm going to come right in here and make these a little bigger. If you guys can see that, I don't know. All right, let's detail around the edges here now. Let's darken them up a little bit. Let's do that brown and the blue again. We're going to kind of come in here and give this little jar some definition. Darken underneath it. Paint's a little too wet. I got it kind of muddied up here. Gotta be careful. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit. Sometimes you have to do that. Let it dry. Any of my people on here yet? I don't see any of my people. I came on early. I told them I was gonna be on at like 6 or 7, but I figured before the medication wears off, I gotta use some nose stuff too. And I got kind of messed up. I'm just learning how to do this live streams. And I had to put well, you wouldn't know what it is, but I had to do a couple things. So I said, well, if I'm going to have it on already, I mean, I was going to do like a practice one, which I've done before. Well, I might as well go ahead and do this class. I got another one with another group at 8 o'clock Eastern time. So I wanted to do that one too. So yeah, I don't know. I hope I can. See how I feel. All right, so I'm going to kind of come in here with cut these corners off. Oh, I didn't bring my palette knife out. Crap. I don't think I got one out here. Time for the palette knife. It ain't out here. Oops, wrong color. Yeah, we're going to let this dry a little bit. This corner. What's nice about the acrylic, you just kind of give it a few minutes to dry. You can come back and start working again right away. Yep. It's good to have some shadows on this too. Just kind of pick up some of this green. Going to go like this from here. There's some shadow this way. Yeah, it's more like straighter. Yeah. Should be doing layers, do a lot of layers. Probably the last layer was a palette knife, so yeah. This you can kind of, there's some flowers up here. You can see some like reflections of what's up there down in here. Yeah, I don't think there's some little bit of bush, like there's some like a vine around this or something, around a little bit of caps here, but there's also like, I'm thinking that's some kind of foliage here. Let's kind of work a little bit in here. That kind of brings it down a little bit, doesn't it? It does. It's a round brush I'm using. Let's go in here and mess around with this a little bit. This has got to be exactly like I said. It doesn't got to be Exactly. Doesn't have to be. Let's put a little highlight on that with some yellow and white. I don't like using straight white, but sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes. Look a little too much like a Christmas tree there. Yeah, it's like a lighter brown. So let's clean this brush up a little bit. It's like more of a lighter tan. I think it's right up there in the light. That's why. Hey, Lori. Hey, is it Joni or Johnny? Joni? Must be Joni. Where are you? Almost midnight. Where are you? Is it looking nice? I hope so. Sometimes I'm never too sure. I just do it. But all you can do, right? We talk about that all the time, don't we? Sometimes you don't know until you just do it. Sometimes you like it better than the original if you're copying something. Sometimes, like I do a lot of real paintings, like from real sets of flowers and real places, and sometimes it doesn't come out always the way I want it. But then I tell my girls, Lori's on one of my classes, that Scotland, that's awesome, Scotland, cool girl. What's I talking about? I got all excited that she's from Scotland. That we are so hard on ourselves. There's this whole story I tell. Lori's probably heard this 1,000 times about. I had a little salon, and it was little, and our bosses that we had kept bouncing checks and stuff. So finally, one of the girls' brothers said, "Hey, I got this building. You want to go in behind?" So we all went together. We were together a long time. So we did it so cute. So we were redoing it, and we wanted something for the bathroom. And I'm really prolific now. I'm painting a lot now because I'm doing classes. This first one done for myself in a while, this one. So you can see I got a bunch on the wall. I don't know if you can see them, but I got a bunch. But I said, well, she says, Diane, you got anything for the bathroom? We need something in there. So yeah, I think I got a few. So I went home and I had a couple I did on paper. I did, on heavy paper too. I still do. And I didn't like it. I don't even know why I kept it. But for some reason I kept it. And it was on like a dark colored paper. It really was sharp after. But I looked at it and I don't know. They had the spray and I put it in the frame and said, this doesn't look so bad. So then, of course, when I got there, everybody raved about it. But to me, I don't know if it wasn't my cup of tea, and I did like it later. But I don't know. Sometimes we don't know how something's going to be. And some of it is us. A lot of times it's us. I've sold pieces of work and I'm like, they like that? Like I'm the only one with any taste, so just crazy stuff, right? So I sometimes I'm not too sure. But sometimes I like it and other people don't. So that's just the way it goes, right? So I'm trying to keep it lighter in these. I think these are more up in the light. And these are like really behind the light. So you're going to get some reflection from the window. It's going to hit like the sides and around the edges. I also believe I didn't put a lot in yet, but there's some foliage behind the window. So that's going to create some shade. So I'm going to try to keep it looking kind of marbled down here as I go. If that makes any sense to you guys. Scotland. I'm sorry. Lori, I'm so sick. My daughter was here the last 2 weeks. She had a cold. She still got it. And I'm not supposed to catch colds. But, I'm okay. I have COPD, but it's no big deal. Not real bad. But I get a cold. It doesn't go away. So I got stuff. I took some. I don't like taking too much stuff, though, So I wanna set this down. It looks like it's floating. My big thing floating. So you need to darken this up right here. I need to darken this up. So I'm gonna use this same like brownish color from here because it's gonna reflect on here. And I'm going to pick up some of the alizarin, which I love alizarin. I guess there's shortages of it and stuff. They're saying, I was reading some article. Some article, I read all that stuff. And there's like a shortage, I guess. So I'm going to kind of come in here and just make a top to this. I want to keep some of the blue in there too, so let's kind of darken that up just a little bit underneath here. Leave some of that, just some of this there. So she's sitting down now. She's got a little reflection from the pot and from everything around her. There might even be just a dusting of blue in there too. You could like throw a little light on there with I got some blue in this white. Just an eyelash, not much. Just a little bit. There you go. A little reflective light. Now, this bottle is actually pink. There's like, I think what she's doing is, from the looks of it, she's bottling up herbs. If that makes any sense. So it looks like. I love doing that. I love doing that stuff. I think a lot of artists like gardening. I think if you like the outside, if you paint flowers and landscapes, I think you probably something that you would be aware of or into. Oops, too much pink in there. Just a little bit of color in these. A little too white. A little too green. All right, so this is like a pink color. So I'm gonna pick up my round brush, which I should have put in the water. And I'm going to pick up a crimson touch of some ochre and some sienna and just a touch of white. We're going to start. It's always from dark to light. When I did this I was just picking up the shapes. When I started painting, I usually just do one color and I kind of use that color to underpainting the color. So that's not the actual color. All right, so I get this like pink color. I'm going to start out a little dark, but we're going to lighten it up. Try to follow the shape of the bottle. This stroke takes practice. It's like you got to stand in your head to learn it. Simple stroke, right? If you were left-handed, I think it'd be easier. Now I'm going to leave some light down the center of this. It's kind of lighter on the top. And they have those little, like, what they call them, line corks in the top, which we're not going to worry about right now. I went over a little bit. That's okay. Now you can take your detail brush and you can play. Okay, I hope you guys can see this all right. I didn't have the lights on. There's part one of this is on here, but I didn't have the light set up right. It's a long story. This is a new light and get used to it. I have another one in there, and I actually think the other one is brighter. I had to adjust this. Let me worry about. I'm gonna get a glare too. You don't want no glare. I got a little glare now. I want to be able to see this bottle we're doing. See, until I get enough people, they kind of make you jump hoops. So make sure you subscribe, guys, because then I can use my phone and we can get closer. You have to have 50 people. I've been on here 4 years, but Facebook recently, Lori, it was like 6 months ago or so. We have to store all our stuff, which is no big thing. I store emails. Crap, you have to store stuff on my phone. They pay iCloud to pay for it. So I moved them all over here, and they had rules on Facebook, things you have to do. So in order to use certain things. So the only way I can get to use my phone is to have 50 people, which I never worried about before, but now I would like to, only because I would like to use my phone. Isn't that stupid? It's just easier. Of course, now I'm used to it. I have an iPhone, so I'm used to doing all my high-end ones, so I can do all my videos. I do quite a few. If you go over to Facebook, or you could go over to on here, there's 110 videos. um, on here. So I'm not trying to get this perfect. I'm just trying to get the impression of the bottle. This Helen Van Wyck, like I said, she teaches a lot about this. Oh, she's long since been dead, but I love to watch her. Every time she's done with a soup, she goes, "Well, if you can't paint, you can always make soup." It's her famous saying. Everybody has one, right? I don't think I really have one yet. I'm working on it. You never know, right? You never know. So I always told my husband, told my kids, this is, if I get famous, it'll be when I'm dead. I said, well, Van Gogh actually sold one, wasn't it? Something like that. A lot of them didn't sell any. Or the ones they did to, like art history, they did to eat. So they would do portraits and stuff, but it wasn't their thing. And the whole movement of the Impressionism was turn of the century. They were considered like the hip hop of their time, and they would like just, get people would just get mad because they were doing this really freaky work of fruits and beautiful flowers and bright colors, and it wasn't like exact. It was, Impressionism. So they were kind of ostracized, and actually, that's what he ended up getting famous for. He did get famous towards the end of his life because then it became a whole. They had moved to America. It had become a whole phenomena, and these huge thing. I went and seen a lot of Monet's. There's a lot of artists turn all them started using bright colors and stuff. So it was a whole thing. But there's a lot of them that nobody knew who they were. I wanted the same thing. I kind of darken this bottom because you would have you could see there's like you can see through. You can see the bottom of the bottle right here. I can't have the bottom of this extend past the shelf, so I'm going to have to make that shelf a little wider. A little wider. Just a little bit. Need water. Need water. Just a little bit. I can fix all this in a minute. Dark color right here. Drag that out. Just kind of make a circular bottom. You know what I'm saying, guys? There's like a circular bottom here. I'm only looking to make it impressionistic, so it doesn't got to be like the strategic line that you kind of gotta, do exact. You want to should be able to look back and go, oh, okay, that's a circle. That's the bottom of the bottle. And it's darker on one side of the bottle because of that table is dark, right? This is all dark. So you want to come up this bottle, kind of darken the bottom of it. I need a stiff brush. That brush is too soft for me. Yeah, I need a stiffer brush. Nobody bring out here with me. I think I bring this dark one. Let's try this. Oh, it's too big. Wait a minute, get this little brush sitting over here. Let's try this little brush. How they've got it. It's in our tether, right? Yeah. We're going to kind of take that brown and blue. We're going to kind of darken this corner. We're going to darken the bottom right along with it. Small brushes dry out a lot. You'll see I dip a lot. They just dry out so fast. Acrylic brushes. There we go. Got to set the bottle down. Let's see. This is darker. I think there's like I think right here. She's got like herbs inside the bottles. So you want to kind of pick up that brown and blue, the color you had. Take a little bit of green. You want to kind of just you want to infuse looking. You don't want they're sitting inside water. Let me just take a look. Yeah, so you don't want you just want a few look like they're on a stem in the water. And the stem's kind of sitting right here on the base like a flower, like anything that would be sitting in the water would be just like kind of sitting right here. Sometimes you have to remember things in your mind when you're doing a painting because you think it doesn't make sense. You're like, well, wait a minute. There's a bottom. And chances are that this flower or herb would float to the bottom. It just would, right? I mean, some would float, but this one looks like it's really right on the bottom. All right. Well, this is very impressionistic, so I'm not worried about being too strategic. Now, up here, I got a dirty brush, so I'm going to go in there and I'm going to, they're like medicine bottles, right? What do they call them? Apothecary bottles? Yeah. People are watching me. I don't care. Why is my front door open? I need the air, even in the winter. Probably think I'm nuts. Sitting here freezing my butt off. I have to have windows. I have all my. I don't have like windows that are. They're not totally covered. You know what I mean? I put some of those fancy, look like. What do they call that? Stained glass kind of. Because I like the light. Now the house is a beautiful old house, but the way that it sat in the city, it didn't have a lot of light. So I had moved all the curtains. They had big windows, though. I had beautiful windows. But, you know, it's in the city and the houses are kind of close. So here I got a lot of light. I'm loving doing a garden here. I had some very good little crops here. It was all stone. They had dug a hole. And we had to, redoing the whole yard. Joni, Texas, Scotland, tea, honey, and lemon. I do like that. I like green tea with honey and lemon. My black tea, I love black tea. It's my favorite. I just like that with a little bit of milk. That's it. But my green tea, the last time I lost a lot of weight, that's what I drank instead of hot chocolate. I had hot chocolate the other night. It was so good with a grilled cheese. Oh, God, it was so good. It hit the spot. Oh, it was so good. I know it's fat girl problems, but I just loved it. See, that's kind of looking like a bottle, right? All right, so I'm going to make this up and down because this is like, it's like up here is the cork. So let's take that brown and make a cork. Kind of. Right? And then we're going to pick that white up a little blue. Never use like total white. Always, because there's really no such thing as really just super white. Take a dirty brush, put a little blue and some white in there, and you're going to kind of just do that. So you got like this. See, this needs a little more blue right there. Like I said, when we get done, this is going to be like a curtain over the top of this, which should be a project. Okay. Yeah, so this is actually going to end up being a lot lighter down here, but we're not going to do too much of that until I start doing more of the window. So, okay, so now this one is like a gold color. So she must be using different, maybe vinegar or something, right? So I get this angle brush, and I'm going to let's use some ochre. I might just use straight ochre. Water it up pretty good. Let's kind of go in here, and it's always dark to light, so you want to keep some dark in here. This bottle actually has more of a shoulder on it. Kind of follow the direction of the bottle if we can. There's another bottle sitting in front of it. Do I want that on there? I don't know. I don't know. There's another bottle sitting here, but I got this shortened up right here. You know, I should think about it. And you want to lighten this up some, put a little white into that yellow. Maybe just a tinge of ochre. Just a tinge. No, not ochre. Let's do a tinge of sienna. Just darken this up a little bit. Yeah. I'm going to come in here and make that cap again. Make a cap. And bring the neck down. Shoulder, shoulder. Put some white on there, a little white. Shoulder, shoulder. I'm going to darken that top up. This is a cork. It's a cork. I hope you guys can see that. I don't know if you can see that or not. I got a lot of glare on here. Let me back that up a little bit. I think the light's changing in here. It's getting dark here. Getting darker. I don't know if it's light or dark. And you said it's like real late in Scotland, right? It's dark here, or it's just getting dark here. It's around, what time is it? Just 7 o'clock. Yeah, it's just starting to get dark here. So same thing with darken this bottom up. Would they have sienna and some blue? And, I'm gonna kind of hoping you guys can see. I don't know if you can see this. That's why you gotta subscribe, guys. So I got a lot of glare. A lot of glare. Turn it a little bit. Still got a lot of glare. Where the glare is coming from? It's coming from this. Let's move it a little bit. Let's pull this up a little bit. There you go. Where was I? Get in here. Oops. Darken this bottom. Okay. Yeah, I can see it a little better, right? Now let's get a detail brush. Hey, Joellen. How now, brown cow? Yeah, I went on earlier. It's a long story, but I was just gonna do like a practice run because I was worried about how the light still wasn't right on this, right? Because I don't have a phone. I can't use my phone on this yet. And the screaming changed a little bit. I think I forgot that the first couple of times you have to add it's called streaming key, which I hadn't done in a while. So you have to do it every so often. Well, I said, well, now I'm going to go on here live. I can do it like unlisted. This I might as well just go ahead because I have to set this whole thing. I had to set this whole side of the room up, because it's not where I usually do my art. So anyways, that's what happened. So same thing. There's like this, put a little white in here too with the highlights. There's like this, there's like some kind of like, she's canning or drying, well, not really drying, herbs. You guys, anybody that has to leave or has left, you can rewatch this. I don't know if you know that. They probably know that. Some people don't though. I'm going to come in here, just make some random, I don't know, let's just get like these. Like these just, all right. Same thing, I can kind of darken these bottoms up and make it look like it's sitting on the bottom. The thing with art now too is you can do a lot of different things and just do it your own way. Once like I say, once you know all the rules, you can break a few. You can break a few dozen actually. So I always thought people who did abstract were like didn't know what they were doing. Well, if you watch anything on abstract, a little more to it than I thought there was, but that's you learn as you go along. That I've applied some of the different things. It kind of works with impressionism. You're just doing your interpretation of things, so you can kind of work that into stuff. We have done classes on that kind of stuff, so. It's the top of the bottle there. All right, so you got a couple bottles there. Look pretty good, right? Let's mess around with this. I'm going to kind of darken this edge up a little bit more. This side I don't want it to be too perfect. Kind of bring in some white and lighten this edge up. This will be our lost edge. This will be our found edge. Yeah, that's good. That's a good. My little darkness here is coming off the table. All right, so now you really kind of see these stems. I didn't really do any stems in here. I didn't realize it till after. So can we add stems to this? Maybe a little bit. Some stems. There's some stems here. Sure, why not? Some stems. Can you guys see this better? Lori, Joe? Than with the light on it? Because there's too much glare. Yes, okay. Oh, yeah. Nose is a little better now. Well, I had a little nose run this morning when I had posted I was going on today. So I had to put air in my tire, which is another whole story. There's nothing wrong with my tire. And then I went and did that, and I says, well, they're having this good sale. I like this certain kind of tomatoes. You guys ever heard of Tucharosa? Usually about $2.69 a can, which is really pretty good. 99 cents. I had to go, and they closed the one near here, so it's like rather close to where I used to live. So I went all the way out there. And while I was there, I got me some Popeye's chicken. I haven't had it in ages. Well, I can't say that because last week me and my daughter had it. It was so good. So I'm going back and get me some more. So I bought enough so I can have 2 dinners out of it. I just had dinner with it. I'll probably have a snack. I'm on a diet, but I haven't been behaving this week. I'm going back on though. Not really. I can't say that because I have changed a lot of what I'm eating. So I have taken out 50 pounds. So, but I got a long way to go. So that looks all right. I'm not sure if I'm crazy about it. I can always adjust it later. Acrylic paint, and at some point I'm gonna do a little palette knife on this. I forgot to bring my palette knife out. So, all right. So now my palette knives. Let's work on this bottle right here. I'm gonna go back to these. I'm letting that dry. This bottle is actually, I think, a little wider and a little taller. So I'm going to come in with some some alizarin prism, some white, and some sienna. And I'm going to come right in here and make this a little bit wider. Get a little longer. A little taller. Yeah, I just thought the bottle looked kind of odd. I don't know. I just felt like it had to be longer. Can you see that? There you go. I know, right? I like the spicy. I remember the first time I had it, I wasn't too crazy about it, and that was years ago. So then my grandson, you lived with me for a while. One day he comes home with it, and I said, "Well, let me try a piece." Well, he gets the spicy, so now it's not that spicy. I like hot food, so I was like, "Ooh, this is good stuff." I don't know if the girl from Scotland's still watching this, but you know why we're fat? We like to eat, Joni. We like our food over here. Well, everybody likes their food, right? Anyways, I like it, and there's none near here. So if I'm that way, I picked up like a 4 piece. It's like I said, it'll be like 2 meals. And the guy was so nice. I picked up a 3 piece. He gave me an extra one, and he gave me an extra large soda. Do I look deprived? Okay, I said okay. I don't know. Maybe he had too much chicken out. I don't know what the story was, but it seems like since I got older, that happens a lot. People just trying to be nice to me. Does that sound right? I just go okay. I mean, it's not always. That's not always what happens. Not always, but sometimes people are just being nice. You know. I was like, okay. He says, "You want an extra large soda?" He goes, "Okay, I'll just give you a." I didn't ask for anything. Oh, so they're so nice over there. He was busting his butt, boy. He was moving. He was making some time. Must be the boss was there or something, huh? So I'm gonna pretty thin this out a little bit. This has a kind of a softer shoulder on it. And it's kind of light. You're gonna see through it. So let's get a smaller brush. I'm sorry, I'm sniffling. I can't help it. Stupid. Let me get my round brush. Pick up that same color, and I'm going to add some white to it. That's neutralized it a little bit. The opposite would be green. So I had some green I made over here, so I'm just going to throw a little bit of that in there. Just kind of neutralize this a little bit. I'm going to just kind of, yeah. Needs to be a little bit lighter. Actually, too, right here at the top, it's not filled all the way. So there'd be like the spot here where the bottle's just starting to get filled. So let's just take a little bit of sienna, drag it right across there like that's where the water starts, right there. So I'm just taking the edge of my brush and just kind of give me indication. And this one's got one of those stopper bottles too. It starts right up about here. Yeah, I didn't plan on this. I got a class. You guys know what PPHQ is? Well, she's doing her fall bonanza, and we're doing a cow, which I'm going to sell in some kits I'm going to do. So I got to, not that I really need to, I know how to do all that, but sometimes I like to chime in. I think she likes it when some of the people, when I started with her, there was only maybe 400, maybe 200. There wasn't a lot. And now there's like 3,000 people. Well, actually 4. 2 are in this ball tonight. So it's nice to have people that are there that have been there. We can chime in. I don't always paint with her, but I thought it'd be nice to just kind of talk to people. And sometimes you meet people too, pick up a few people, to teach. So a lot of them are newbies. They've never painted, or they just have bare minimum skills. And she teaches, she doesn't really teach that, but sometimes I'll get a few that you'll see someone that come around like Tammy and all that. They do other stuff. So, or you'll see a lot of the artists. They come into my group are new businesses and they're looking to improve their skills. So that's why I go over there and meet some people. And she's a sweetheart. I love her so much, sweetheart. So I'm just kind of coming here with Lizerin and indication. So yeah, so I'm gonna do that cow tonight. I'm gonna do it before I say they do. She does a big competition, but I feel it's like not fair, so I just kind of don't do that. I just paint my painting. I feel like it's kind of unfair, because I've been doing this so long. Although there's a full few, I don't care. I don't care. A little intimidating. The girls that are new. All right. I'm putting a little. It needs to be dark. I'm putting a little bit burnt umber in here, and bring that cork up. It's like right here. I'll just darken it up a little bit. Then of course I'm gonna take some white with a dirty brush. So I got a dirty color. Kind of make a little indications on this cork. Can you guys see this already? I hope. I hope. I don't like the slope on this. Now you want to make this a little see-through, so I'm going to kind of take those colors, those same colors I've been using, start adding white. A little alizarin crimson too, because this has got definitely got a pink look to it. So I'm going to use straight alizarin with a dirty brush with some white and come in here and start lightening up. Lightening up. You don't want perfect little lines on it because this light's kind of diffuse. It's coming through this window. Remember, there's a curtain there. So the light's going to be a little wonky. It's coming through a little diffused. So kind of go back and forth. Add the white to your... I got the color mixed up. I'm adding white to it. And I'm kind of just going back and forth with it. Same thing. This has got herbs in it or whatever. There's also that you're going to get a little reflection from that green, so you could even pick up a little bit of this green and kind of throw some greens in there. I'm getting green in here because I got color all over my hand. So you know how I put my fingers down? I'm just getting into but that's okay. That's okay. Now I'm going to darken up one side of this a little bit. It's the opposite of red, green. So I'll pick up a little green with that red. I'm going to come right down this side, kind of darken it up a little bit. Blue, yellow, mix some green. Went to my red. Neutralize. The red and green neutralize each other. If you guys know anything about your color wheel, you know that's what happens. So you can it makes it work because even though they're complementary, they'll also cancel each other out and they're good to. The shadow of red would have some green in it, and the shadow of green would have some red in it. It'd be green and red, or red and green, depends on what you're doing. So I'm making this shadow right here. I'm using it to define this edge of this bottle. If that makes any sense. Gotta come take some classes. Yes, I noticed today that they are taking videos out of the where I had guides in our free group. They've removed some of them, so it's going to be a project. I'm not going to guarantee I'm going to get to it anytime soon, but I will throw a few in there. Some of the ones that were already there, and I got a whole bunch to do in the other group, and I haven't even started. So yeah, this is the same thing. It's going to kind of hit the bottom here, and I'm going to take that Alizarin Crimson in the Sienna. I'm going to make just a little indication of the bottom. Darken this corner up. Kind of come in with some blue. Same thing. Darken this corner up. Make sure the bottle's not floating, that's all. We're going to kind of trim in some of this too. You come with some more gold and cut some of this out. You can lighten this top up a little bit more. A little more white. Tone it down a little bit. Skim this a little bit. Looking like a bottle. Looking like a bottle. Blue. I don't want to get too crazy about cutting these edges in because, like I said, we're going to be doing some work and with the palette knife and making those curtains. I'm going to come back over here in that flower. You guys can see that flower needs some definition. There you go. I'm just going to kind of, there's actually several flowers up this. There's like, they're like right here. There's one right here. One right here too. Just picking up my dirty brush and a little bit of alizarin crimson, crimson, crimson. Too far over, I gotta get over there. Like crimson, a little sienna. Maybe a touch of blue to make it a little more violet. A little touch of blue. Blue and the red makes like a violet, kind of a violet. A little white, kind of a diffuse red. Maybe a little more sienna on it. Needs to be pinker. Let's go back and add some more white. Yeah, a little more red. Should probably get out a different red. Hold on. I've got, I got reds in here. Hold on. Yeah, how about crimson red? I had a little bit of that. Just make it a little pinker. Chris, I'm going to put that somewhere in the painting now. Just, it needs to be a little pinker, a little bit. What is saying open? Yeah, so we're doing this. I'm not crazy about the whole Highland cow phenomena. I mean, they're cute, you know. They're like real ones. My daughter, you know, she's a. You don't have them, but she's, you know, they're dairy farmers, and I just think they're cute. But I don't think up here in Central New York it's too popular. But it might be. I haven't tried doing a party with it yet. So I have this crimson red, a little white. Let's see if I can make this a little pinker up here. Yeah, that's better. I just want some more pink in there. There you go. And I add some more red to it. So, anyways, this is a really cute one. This is the cutest one I've seen. So, that's why I can do this one. So, it'll kind of get me back into doing it. Sometimes you need a little motivation yourself, you know. So I'm teaching this, but I like to learn. I learn right with you guys, and I try new things too, you know. This whole YouTube thing is a experience. Let's see. Yeah, let's put a little bit of green on the edges here, just kind of a little bit. This red. Right in there. Yeah. Let's take a little bit of this red and kind of pick up some. I told you it's got to be in the painting all over, so just put a little bit here and there. Could actually probably add little flowers on this a little bit. Just kind of mess around with it. There you go. I like to have the color go all through the painting. So it's like I said, sometimes the colors will be reflected off different things in the picture. Reflective light. So it just looks better when it does. Just little tads here and there. Clean off the brush. All right. How's it looking, guys? Yeah, let me mess with this a little bit too. Let me get that small brush out again. And yeah, I'm gonna flatten that top out on these a little bit. Like a bluish green. So I'll make some green, yellow, and blue. And then I'll add, it's like they put little flowers or something around this. I'm kind of coming here, make a perfect little line here. Like that. It needs to be flatter on the top here, so make a circle. Can add color to it, but I'm just going to do it light right now. Do it light. This brush is okay, but it's a little soft. I don't know. I had another one earlier I was using. Not as soft. Acrylic brushes are meant to be a little stiffer. Your oil brushes are a little softer. But usually some type of animal here. But acrylic brushes are usually stiffer. They're supposed to be because, you know, it can dry. The paint can dry in pretty quick, cause a lot of problems. It just holds the paint better too. So, yeah. More color here. And we'll lighten it up a little bit. Dark to light. Add a little white to that. Kind of going back and forth here. Kind of mimicking the shape a little bit. A little bit. Just a little flatter. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta get forward here and kind of flatten this out. You guys do any painting this week? I know Lori probably has. You done any painting, Joe? I know you've been busy with them grandbabies. I've been mostly getting the garden in. You know, I still got a few things out there. I was so thrilled about those beets. I ate all of them too. I was so happy. I've never had beets like that. I mean, it's just the ground out here, but interesting, it always has put a little bit of sand in, so I put the sand in because there was a hole that they didn't get to because, you know, it was all rocks around here. I got it all grassed in except for the front. And so I says, well, I got to put something in this hole. So I had a bag of sand left over, and I put from another project, and I put it in there. So I don't know, I was putting a rose bush in, and I was like, well, let me just throw this bag of sand in the hole and I'll put these seeds in. Well, that thing was huge. I didn't think, I'm a gardener, but I didn't really think it took that much, but it does, evidently. Sand. So you live and you learn, right? And they were delicious. They were delicious. Let me tell you something. I ate all of them. There's only two big ones and a lot of greens. And I love greens. So they were good. So this kind of comes down too, don't it? It kind of comes down. Just like where it drapes. I think that's what my problem is. Like drapes over the. You guys should try different things. Like the first time I did like a knitted quilt I did like a lace tablecloth underneath something with doily, just to kind of learn about different lights and texture. This is a little bit of a challenge, really, just to kind of get this to look like it's coming over the top of this jar. I gotta squint my eyes. This one, don't think it needs to come out quite as far, so I can cut that off a little bit. Get some ochre. So we're getting close to how much I can do tonight. What I'll do is, when I'm done, guys, I will post it and I'll make a little video because it's really hard to post a picture, but I have done it. And I'll do it like on the triple speed or whatever, and then you guys can see me finish it, and then you can see the finished result. And I'll probably post it on my Facebook page too. That's another thought. So, anyways, I won't be able to do this all tonight. These big ones are not like. I spent like 2 hours on this and then another 2 hours tonight, an hour and a half, like 3.5 hours. So this is a good another couple hours. So, But I'll probably post some of it on my Facebook page, and then I'll put my my phone goes right on this light, and you guys can see it from there. I've been doing shorts too, so I've been putting some of the only thing good about the shorts was I have done a lot of reels and stuff, and I'm fond of doing the quicker ones, the long ones, you gotta tape them and you gotta make it perfect, and I guess some of them hang off the ends of their bed, and I said, no, gotta buy another fancy camera, no, done with that. So that's why I would rather do a live, because I can still get pieces off this. There's ways you can do it. So and I'm not great at editing. And a lot of ones are doing really good. Remember, they got people that help. They got people that do the editing. They got people that do the advertising. They got people that do all the little stuff that you guys don't know that I do. So I'm not that big of a page. And honestly, I want to get bigger, but I'm hearing horror stories. So if you're going to get bigger and make some money, okay. But if you're not, because the more the bigger you get, the more stuff you need. That requires more money. And I'm at the age where I try to do less with, less money. And I'm at the age where I want to enjoy what I'm doing. If that makes any sense. So, a little bit for an extra living and, sell a few paintings, do a few classes, go do a few paint parties, whatever. It's fun. So I'm kind of lighting up in here where the light's going to come in too. So then I can cut in a little bit to this top of these simply by coming in doing just straight ochre on the background. I can cut in a little bit. You can see what I'm doing. And I come with the dark brown and the blue. made that really dark color and kind of cut in right here. Oops, too much right there. See, there's another bottle here, but I don't really want to do it, so I'm just going to have to figure out how I'm going to do this light over here, right? Yeah. Figure it out. So I kind of off a little bit here, off a little bit. It's off a little bit. I'm liking this little brush. I'm liking it. A little blue in there. In the window. A little blue. What's on here? No painting this week? Does it look good on here? Okay. We can go and come back. I mean, you know. Listen, I'm only going to do a little bit more. And then I'm going to finish up. Probably do a quick one for you. I got a class right after this. What time is it? Yeah, 8 o'clock. So I have time. I got it set up in the other room with PPHQ. I didn't even put paper towel on my hands. Ain't no place to put anything over here. I get that. I figured out that little table. I got it right here because I was off a Pepsi box. So I said a root beer box. But I figured it out. So let me just kind of. These have more of a golden color. So let's just come in here and do this. Yellow ochre. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that first. Yellow ochre and a little bit of yellow. It's kind of brightness. Kind of bright. Maybe just a touch, a hair lash of this sienna. That's even too much. I did too much. Let's go back with the yellow, the ochre. Yeah, dark to light. So let's start this out a little darker. Same thing. They still need a little light. I still need to play with the light a little bit. But I figure when I come in to do the curtains, that's where I'm going to be messing around with that. Putting in some more light. It's always dark to light, so I just start off dark and go to light. See, these are really super transparent, these two. So I'm just kind of washing on this bottle. It's not very strong. Ochre, a little yellow. Just doing the same thing. These are almost exact same colors. This one I think might be set too far back too, but it's all right for now. I'll just sit down. Remember, you see the lines in the back of these. You're supposed to remember they're see-through. They say, well, they're supposed to be because you would see some of the outside. Just kind of lightly going dry brushing on this yellow. Yeah, these are super transparent. You guys want to take a look at the picture again while I'm doing this? Jeez. I can't figure it out. It's like you ever try doing the back of your head in the mirror? What a pain in the butt. So it's pretty close, right? It's getting there. Not as red. Not as much red in this. I might add a little more red to that. I will think about it. All right, so let's get the small brush. So we get basically the second layer done. So I call the second, usually 3 layers, right? And the last layer will be those curtains, some more highlights, and some palette knife work. Yeah, okay, let me just kind of mess with these bottles. Actually, this picture's gotten wet a few times. So I told you I sketched it out. It's in a box over here. It's more of a gray look to it. But I don't use black, so very rarely. So I'm going to have to kind of improvise here. It's pretty good. And here. This one has like, what they call that when they have what do they do with it? Here. They have this like, I know there's a name for it. They have this like little metal thing like that. Which I actually have some here. My daughter just made she's really, she has that farm. She's really into like getting nervous and making all kinds of weird stuff. She made my daughter some ginger beer and she bought them somewhere. I don't think it was like Amazon, but maybe because she's up in the boom booms, maybe. But she's all into that natural stuff, which is okay, you know. It's gotta have this like other notch right here. Yep. Ginger beer, and then she's got some kind of menstrual problems, you know, so she made her this, not problems, but like changey stuff. So she made her some kind of herb. She's a nurse, so I'm assuming she knows what she's doing. Yeah, she's made me some oils and stuff. I've tried some different things. Be surprised how much some of that stuff works. It fascinates me. She's really into it too. I was into it when I was younger, but they know a lot more now. She comes up with some pretty good stuff. And she's out foraging in my yard, looking for stuff. This is good for this, and this is good for that. Well, I ain't picking it. You pick it. Well, I have like, you guys know what purslane is? Years ago, I pickled some. It's pretty good. It tastes like cucumber. It's a herb, but it was actually brought over here by, I don't know what, if it was Italian, some European group, and they ate it. So sometimes some of these weeds are not actually weeds. A lot of our stuff is not necessarily native, which I didn't know. So anyways, the purslane, pretty popular. I live on the north side of the city, all Italian. It's all real rocky, terraced land, which they have, kind of native to their city. We have a lot of Italians that settled in Syracuse. Same thing. You got all these like, plants going through this too. So tone it down a little. Ochre, I'm the green yellow, but I'm toning it down a little bit with the ochre. So, but you know how I like to mix everything with ochre. And then this one kind of comes around this way. Just an indication. Nothing too. You want to kind of dry brush these on. I'm not looking to do this exactly, just kind of similar. Kind of comes up this way. And a little circle right here. This one's behind here, but in this picture, I haven't got it behind it. That's why it was looking kind of odd to me. Because these are actually bigger, but I didn't do them that big. Yeah, there's some flowers on this one, which is cool because I always like a good flower. All right, so look, a little green, more green. Just kind of skim this. It looks like there's a flower in both of these. I don't know if I want that red. I want to dull that out. So I'll leave the green on my brush, pick up a little bit of that red, that other red, and just kind of make the indication of a flower here. A little bit here too. We got to dull that out a little bit. A little more white. A little more white. A little more pink in there too. Maybe a little alizarin too. Yeah. Don't really want it bright. We just want it kind of diffuse. Oh, my nose is starting again. All right, so that's it for tonight, guys. Like I said, I will finish this on the fast hyperspeed, and then I will post the hyperspeed on here. Maybe I'll put it in a short, depends. And then I'll push the final picture will be in the group. And I think I could post it on here too. They do posts on here. So thank you, Joni, for visiting in Texas time. And Lori and Joe. Nice little crowd tonight. If anybody watches this later, you could chime in and just say I rewatched it, what you thought. And I've been not behaving. I've been eating all the wrong. I've been living on fudgies. I love fudgies. I get the light fudgies, but they're not the diet fudgies. But yeah. So and then it was somebody's birthday, so the rest of her cake I had to freeze it. So then she bring that cheesecake. I had to freeze it because I won't sit there and eat a whole cheesecake. That's how do you think I got like this? So then I put that away, and then I was at the store and I bought some pumpkin donuts. I had 3. I had to put the rest in the freezer. So there's plenty of snacks around here because I'm not averse to eating frozen cake. So I keep hoping my grandson will come around because he'll eat everything. He'll say, I don't like that. So I will see you guys later. I'm hoping you're liking this. I haven't named it. I don't know. Probably just windowsill with bottles or something. I don't know. I think I put in there something like that. So this is a nice canvas too. This is one of those box ones. So I could like put some designs on the side. You know how I do that? I might at some point put something, maybe some foliage and have it come down onto the curtains or something. That's an idea. So I will see you guys later. And as usual, I hope inspiration finds you wherever you go. And I will be on here again. And subscribe, guys. And make art, guys. Make lots and lots of art. And I'll see you later. Thanks for coming. Bye.